you just realize where your place is for once? Seriously, women. You make one right point with this. Hey, the studios, you're dropping the ball for Whammon. Yeah, guess what? There's literally nothing I wanted to look at as Whammon in my superhero Whammon. Well, I kind of enjoyed the stupid Captain Marvel one, ironically. Anyway, I am Mecca. Subscribe to this channel. Or else, pretty please. They're just destroying this channel with the algorithm. The Hollywood Civil War, the Hollywood woke mind virus, the artificial intelligence, all of this whole societal collapse that we're seeing right in front of our eyes, where studios don't give a flippity flip about what they're putting up there. As long as we generate this controversy, as long as we have, a whole 5 comments on these, this is another Mary Sue, on these Mary Sue articles. Remember when they used to be the be-all, end-all of all of this, right? I guess I missed this one last week. All of these Spider People movies, okay, these Spider People movies, for your tiny demographic of women who are that into the superhero demographic, right? Chelsea Steiner asks, Amazon's Silk Spider Society is being retooled for a male-skewing audience because apparently men don't have enough already. Do women really want a Spider People thing? Movie? I don't think they do. Or a TV series? I don't think they do. Box office proves that Madam Web, a huge flop, it gets worse and worse and worse for Disney and not for Disney. Why am I saying Disney? Sony, because that's another thing. Most of your audiences don't know that this is not a Marvel movie. Most of your movie audience probably. Here's our comic book book expert here. What percentage of the audience do you think knows that these are not Marvel movies?
I would say that doesn't know.
Yeah.
I would say something somewhere around like 55, 60%.
60%. So more than half don't know. And that's kind of what Sony wants and banks on, right? They're like, oh, no, don't say it's not in the Spider-Man MCU. Don't say it. Don't tell people. And what happens? More men go to see these movies than women. The Marvels opened to 47 million. It was deemed an immense failure. Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom was projected open to 30 or 40 million. It was deemed a success. It became clear that sexist trolls hoping for the Marvel failure would use an excuse to write off the female-led superhero movies. You know why Aquaman failed? People didn't like the female co-star. You could have paid attention to what a lot of people were saying. They just didn't care about another Aquaman movie. They didn't want to see it because of, the actress who plays his wife in there. A lot of people kept away from it because of her, because of the famous thing with her and her ex-husband. And a lot of that audience said no. So you could have used that as an angle, is right there in front of you. But no, you're saying sexist trolls were hoping for the... Where's my riding crop? I don't even think this is worthy of a riding crop moment. Now that Madam Web is struggling... Yeah, sexist trolls my ass. Struggling to stay afloat at the box office amid terrible critical reviews, the same phenomena is starting to happen. The Hollywood Reporter probed Madam Web's major misfire by speaking to several industry veterans. According to insiders, who are these insiders? Sony hoped to create a whole Madam Web franchise. Those plans have now been scrapped. So it gets even worse. Mary Sue is blaming the studio. It's so bad. It's scrapping. They're scrapping the entire thing. Why? Because women. What show have I been watching? Okay, you've seen what shows I watch, right? Yeah. I'm not sitting there watching the Madam Web. What show have I been watching?
Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, there was about a decade worth of episodes I didn't see. Yeah, and they got like 1,700 of spin-off shows. And it's really, really great. You know why? Because it's got a hot guy running around taking his shirt off, trying to bang ghosts and stuff. And it's like, yes, I'm sorry. Have you seen it? It's really good, Chelsea Steiner. I promise you there's going to be something for you to watch in that show if you want to watch people... Men don't have enough already. Women don't want this? Do they? Do they really want these spider people infinity to infinity and stuff? Does that mean because as somebody who was a girl who liked Star Wars a little bit as a kid, right? And like enough. You didn't want it to be changed for you. You liked it because the boys liked it, right? And that's where I think with a lot of this is a lot of these female sort of superhero fans and a lot of these female superhero writers, they tend to watch this stuff because the guys are into it and they want to go where the guys are, right? And so you get something like Taylor Swift coming along and she's dating a football player now, and all of her fans are like, what? We can date sports ball guys? What? And they're all kind of grown up and looking at that instead of the politics ball I think people were mad about and thinking that that was going to be the case. And no, that's just to kind of get them to look at football guys and sports ball guys. Because, I mean, that's her fan base anyway, the little blonde cheerleaders, right? So those people aren't watching the Marvel movies so much. They're watching Taylor Swift. So all the, like, the blonde girl Taylor Swifty clones, right? The diverse girls, what are they watching? Shows that are kind of based on, you know, what they see and experience. Some of them are going to like this. Sure, some of these girls are absolute nerds. Absolutely. But they're trying too hard to care what these older male audiences say for their marketing. It's like you're relying too much on the outrage, quote unquote, neckbeard man baby, quote unquote, as what, you know, the Mary Sue calls him still too. You're relying too much on we hate this, it's a whammon, it's what. You're relying so much on that it's become such a stereotype and such a you're still doing this, really, we're still doing this day and age. We haven't moved past this, right? So they're still doing the same poke. And what happens? Well, everybody kind of segregates back into their own little thing. Hollywood tends to, and I covered this earlier on a Natalie Portman video, Hollywood tends to be catering to theater geeks now, not so much superhero fans. The superhero fans are going to their independent comics, right? So the comic book fans are going to their independent comics, not these overly produced, overly hyped studio monstrosities. Because the studios are failing on so many levels, because they keep doing the same thing to cut costs. And I'm going to get into this on the next video here. So Mary Sue, you really need to, or, you know, maybe, how much more of this do I want to talk about? Hollywood. I'm not going to do another video. Screw that. Not going to do, I got maybe 2 more minutes of stuff to talk about with this. I can squeeze this in. Hollywood, you're cutting corners like what retail did in 2008 when we had a major economic crash and collapse. They want to use the AI instead of background actors. They want to have only their top elite people, forgetting that, okay, your random Michelle Hurd sort of background actresses that's that chick on that show, or that's that guy in that show. Well, those people don't have jobs now, so they can't go to the gym, and on the way to the gym, go to Starbucks and tip the Starbucks girl an extra couple of dollars and this and that, right? And it's all because these freaking high up executive studio people and these corporate criminals want to take as much for themselves as possible, and we know that. So what are they doing? Disney, they're selling off a major part of his business to Sony. They can't even make DVDs anymore. Nobody cares about that anymore. Because why? We can't buy them, don't have anything to play them on, don't want to watch these same movies over and over again, right? Who needs the remake of The Little Mermaid on DVD? Nobody. Who liked it? Nobody. Who needs the remake? Like, Disney is out of ideas so much that they're remaking their own stuff again and again and again. So they're selling off the DVD part of it to Sony for the few people who are still buying those, which is a great idea if you don't want them to change it. Because they do. They change it for streaming. Streaming doesn't always work. You don't always have internet connection. You don't always want to pay money for a streamer, but you can always buy a DVD for $2 at a thrift store or something. And now there's a lawsuit here. That's not really related, but that's just another fun thing. Fubo is suing Disney and Warner Brothers over the thing. It's just worse and worse and worse for everything. That's not really related, but, you know, This just seems to me like they're going by the wayside of retail. And retail are one of those things that the stores are dead. The malls are dead. They're using all these tricks as you're walking through on your cell phone, right? Because I'm really guilty of this. I'm there to get steps in. I'm not there to buy stuff because who has money? I'm looking at my phone, looking at the song I'm listening to. And what do you see out the corner of your eye? Girls dropping stuff, people running out of the store with bags. They set girls there at jewelry counters who they think kind of look like you to sit in their bend there to kind of trick you into getting your guy or whoever you're with to buy you jewelry or whatever. And it's getting so desperate. It reminds me of like Oliver, like the Oliver Twist. Is it Oliver Twist? Anyway, whatever it is. When you'd have these little street beggars and pickpockets and all this stuff everywhere because you just needed a gimmick to get somebody to even notice the thing you're selling. You know, like you see guys walking around in the shoe stores or with shoe bags and nobody ever actually buys anything. Or you see them coming out of the Levi's store to get you to dart into it. Oh, it's a scam and it's so obvious. Oh, it's so obvious. And I want in. I want a cut of that. Now, I am going back to my live chat. Now that I've blown your mind, please donate some cash.
The following video is brought to you through the generous support of viewers like you. If you like this content, then please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. And for those who are in the position to donate, this channel thanks you. And so does this orange cat.